welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super excited about today's show because it is Women's History Month and we are going to highlight an important figure in history. I have joining me today Michelle Duster, and she is the great-granddaughter of Ida B. Wells and the author of the book Ida B. the Queen, The Extraordinary Life and Legacy of Ida B. Wells. So we're going to talk a little bit about Ida B. Wells, like her legacy, and about the book. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss today's show. Joining me today, I have Michelle Duster. How are you? Welcome to Check the Rhymes.
I'm good, Shamika. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm super excited to talk to you because I absolutely love the book and I don't want to give it all away. So I'm just going to try to direct people to parts of why they should read it.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this book because for me, I learned a lot about Ida B. Wells that I didn't know before.
Oh, awesome. I mean, that's the goal, is to introduce people to the work and legacy of my great-grandmother, who was a journalist. She was a civil rights activist, a suffragist, a social worker. She co-founded the NAACP and the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. She founded the Negro Fellowship League. She was a wife and a mother. She did a lot of different things in her lifetime, which is awe-inspiring. And hopefully people will see parts of who they are in her story.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, during that time, it's like she held so many hats, had her hands in so many places. And I don't know if during that time period, because I'm trying to think of my own family members, I don't know that they did that much stuff. If they were a mother and a wife, that's it. I just can't imagine, where did she find the time to do all this? During your own research, did you find out anything that you didn't know or that shocked you about your great-grandmother?
The main thing that I found that was, I would say, particularly fascinating to me was that she was surveilled by the FBI. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that to the extent that it was before I started working on this book. And I just found it interesting that she was considered to be so dangerous just because she was fighting for freedom and equality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part, I don't think I knew that part at all, actually. So I was shocked by that they would find her, or classify her as dangerous, because I'm like, I don't know, but again, it was a different time. So I totally understand. Another part that kind of stood out to me was the fact that her husband was so supportive of her efforts. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Right. I mean, he was definitely a progressive man who believed, obviously based on his actions, he believed in gender equality. He was attracted to Ida and actually sought her out as somebody that he wanted to be with. She was his second wife, and his first wife was amazing as far as her level of accomplishment. So he had a pattern of being attracted to strong women mm-hmm. who were challenging the status quo. My great-grandmother was one of the most well-known people in the country when they got married, and he knew that. So he was not intimidated at all by who she was and was willing to be an absolute partner in every way.
I love that because I feel like a lot of times, especially today with dating, it's like you find so many people so intimidated by a woman's success. So that was refreshing to read, that even then, how supportive he was. And I absolutely love that. So this is going to sound crazy. So I saw on social media that there's some website that is animating pictures of historical figures. And I saw one of Ida B. Wells. Have you seen it?
Yes.
What did you think?
I mean, it's technology. I guess people want to play with it.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of, to me, it was cool because it's like, you got a sense of maybe a little bit of their movement. I don't know, it still gave them life, I guess a little bit, but it was still a little creepy at the same time. So I just wondered if you had seen it and what you thought about it. Because I think it's cool. It's especially even seeing like Frederick Douglass and I think Harriet Tubman was another one I saw, and I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen it. Several people have sent it to me.
So what else do you think is important that people should take away from this book? What is it that you really want them to know about Ida?
Well, I mean, that she basically fought for first-class citizenship. That is really the main thing that she was fighting for. When it came to racial equality, gender equality, she was fighting against, she was exposing the truth when it came to what domestic terrorism or lynching was, being used as a form of domestic terrorism. She was using the truth as a weapon to fight against injustice. She was using journalism as a form of activism in order to expose these truths. And she always believed that her voice was important and the truth would lead to justice.
Do you think that sometimes in these conversations of civil rights, that sometimes she doesn't get the recognition that she deserves?
I think there are a lot of people who don't get the recognition they deserve. Particularly women. I think overall, if you just look at history, the number of women who have been marginalized is extreme. So she is not alone when it comes to being under-celebrated and under-recognized. And so, that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with this book, is to make sure that people are aware of the contributions that she made to this country. And also, I included numerous people who have come after her, who have been, taking on the work that she was doing and working in her tradition, to show that there's a long tradition in our community of fighting for justice and equality.
Right. Absolutely. One of the other things I was curious about is, what do you think that she would think about, like, first we had our first Black president in the White House, and now we have a Black and Asian woman that is in as the VP. What do you think she would think about that?
I think that she would think that it's good. It's progress. Obviously, that we have people of color who are in the highest levels of our political system, 90 years after she died. But I also think she would, sort of have mixed feelings about the state of the country, because on the one hand we have progress, and on the other hand we still have resistance and challenges when it comes to racial inequality. And so I think she would have mixed feelings about just the overall state of the country.
Yeah. Well, where can people get the book? Because I know that I have my copy, but where can people get the book?
The book Ida Be the Queen is available wherever books are sold. Pretty much every outlet you can think of. Okay.
Can they follow you on social media anywhere?
Yes, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Duster, and on Facebook at MLD Writes. Awesome. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me today on Check the Rhymes. And you guys see the book is behind Michelle right there. So that's what the cover looks like. So make sure you go check it out. You have no excuse. Learn some history. Thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you, Shamika, for having me.